Welcome to Attenuation, a weekly podcast where two friends come together to drink beer, discuss beer styles and trends, and just generally ruminate on the meaning of life, aka beer. If you enjoy your time with us, we invite you to become a weekly listener and subscribe to the podcast. Without further ado, here is this week's episode.
Hello, and welcome to episode 23 of Attenuation, a beer podcast. My name is Jason, and I'm joined by my best friend since 8th grade, Steven.
Hello.
How's it going today, Steven?
It's going good.
I think we have a fun topic today. Nothing serious. We're not doing any deep dives, no history lessons. We're just going to talk about weird drinking laws across all the states in the United States of America.
There's a lot of them. We have a weird relationship with alcohol in this country.
We do, and it's fascinating the variation of how we legislate that relationship. So
very strange.
Yeah, we'll be getting into some interesting laws that you probably don't know exist. But first, as always, we got to do the best part of the podcast, and that's drinking beer.
Oh, I don't think I'm breaking any Texas beer laws.
There's no...
I think there is one. No drinking 3 sips while you're standing or something. I don't know.
Okay, we'll have to get to that one.
Stay seated for this.
Yeah, I'm going to make sure. I have my eye on you, sir. I was going to say, there's probably no laws about drinking and podcasting. It's too new.
Not yet. Just you wait.
All right, well, I'm going to introduce my beer and give some nose notes, and then I'll pass it over to Steven. So today I'm drinking, this is called Main Boss, and this is from Bear State Brewing Cooperative. It's an Imperial pastry stout, and kind of the star of this beer is that they use their house-made Orgeat syrup, which is like an orange and almond syrup. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. And this is 12%.
Dang.
So it's pouring.
Jason's getting his drink on tonight.
Yeah, I know. I just have a fridge full of stouts, dude. So when I go to pick, it's like, which stout do I want to drink? So it's very dark, as you would expect. It has a super thin, kind of like what the head you would get if you pour like a Coke. So it kind of bubbled up, and now it's almost completely dissipated. It's almost all the way gone. Ooh, it smells boozy.
Nice.
I'm definitely getting chocolate, black coffee, and there's some other. I think I do get the orange. I'm not sure about the almond. There's almost like a rum barrel smell in there too. So I'm gonna start tasting this and see what that expresses as in the flavor.
Yeah, that should be cool. Was it going for any certain thing, or was it just a...
Yeah, it's based on their favorite drink. I'll look it up while I'm smelling it. I'll let you know what they based it on. But I know that, it's kind of a thematic beer.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Well, I am drinking a American Pale Ale from Bear King Brewing in Marble Falls, Texas, just a few miles west of where I am in Georgetown, Texas. It's called Webster's Dilemma. It is a single hopped pale ale. I don't know what the hop is though. So this is kind of my jam too. I know I've been talking about triple IPAs lately, but I'm also just a big fan of the American Pale Ale style because of the need to, if you are executing this style well, you have to balance. You have to find a nice hop and malt balance. So that's why it's one of my favorite styles. Beer pours out fairly light. It's pretty pale. A little touch of amber color to it. So kind of a straw color. Not super clear, but not crazy hazy either. Got a nice holding head. A little bit of lacing. Oh, the nose is like bready malt. Like fresh baked bread.
Nice. That sounds good.
Just a hint of pine, maybe a touch of grapefruit, orange rind. All right, that's my nose. Oh, this is going to be a good one.
Okay, so I'm ready to give my tasting notes. And I pulled up the description again. So it is inspired by rum cocktails. And I can tell you, it kind of tastes like I'm drinking a cocktail. So on the entrance, it tastes like coconut. And then like almost immediately, like super boozy rum. And orange, which I think is from that Orgeat syrup. And then it's got a really long, like, creamy vanilla. It's a sweet finish too, and that's kind of where I'm getting the almond notes a little bit in the very end. So I have mixed feelings about it. I like it. I think as advertised, it feels like a stout that's inspired by cocktails, like a rum cocktail. So I will give it a thumbs up, but it's not 100% what I was expecting. I don't know why. And but if I was in the mood, I think I would drink one again.
So are you getting chocolate too, like your classic stout flavors with that, or is it just?
Yeah, there might be some chocolate in there. Yeah, there is. There's some chocolate in there. There's a lot actually going on. Actually, now that I think about it, I kind of like this a lot more because it is it's pretty complex. Like, it's one of those beers, like when you mentioned that, now I tasted it and I kind of pulled that flavor out. Also, I'm highly impressionable. But yeah, there are like the stout is happening, but I feel like that the rum and that especially the orange is like so forward. It's almost like overshadowing like the rest of the stout flavors. But I think they are there. Okay, I'm becoming more of a fan as we're discussing this beer.
Sounds horrible.
You know what's so funny is I've noticed like the last like 4 or 5 episodes when I've done kind of these like experimental stouts. I think I always give the same answer. Like, it's not 100% what I was expecting, but I would drink it like if I was in the mood to drink it. Like now that I know what this is, I think there might be a day when I like crave it. But if you just randomly pick
like,
this,
what is the mood?
Yeah, the mood is like I can't decide if I'm going to drink a stout or a rum cocktail.
Do you get in that mood often?
Almost never.
Yeah. So fair to say you're never going to drink that beer again.
Probably not.
Okay, and on the flip side, I'm so glad I got a 6-pack of this beer because this one is a good daily drinker.
Okay, good. I'm excited.
Because while look, it's nowhere near as complex as the beer you're drinking. This is like a beer you can just drink and not think about, and it's just like perfect beer. And that's why I think I'm starting to really like the American Pale Ale style, because that's what it is. It's just malty, hoppy, but balanced, and you don't have to be in any sort of mood for this beer. All you have to be is in a mood for beer, and that's what you're going to get. So my tasting notes on this is very similar to the nose notes, with just like this really great sweet beer bready taste. So this malt sweetness entrance, and then as you swallow it, you just get that great like hop bitterness. I wouldn't say there's any like flavor really coming forward other than just kind of that piney dank residue, but it's just hop bitterness. Very, very basic, with just a little bit of like citrus and pine bitterness, but that's it. And it just drinks so easily because those two aspects, the sweetness and the bitterness, just roll together and then just finishes and you just want to take another drink. So this is a good beer, and it's really, really well executed pale ale. So cheers to Bear King Brewing in Marble Falls.
I kind of wish I was drinking one of those instead of what I'm drinking.
Well, one day when you come visit, we'll head out there because it's very close. So.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah, I've made one trip out there, and the food is bomb too. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So they actually serve food at the brewery?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Which is my favorite. I look up a brewery, and if they don't have any food, I'm like, I don't want to go there.
I kind of feel the same way. Like, the food truck thing is cool, but it's kind of variable what you're gonna get, and then I don't know. If there's a brewery like that has an amazing kitchen as well, that's the dream.
Oh, and the food's always good.
Yeah.
This will sort of dovetail into some of our beer laws, because a lot of them have to do with serving beer and food together. So.
Is that
which I am a fan of. I think that those laws should be made everywhere. You have to serve beer and food.
It's mandatory. You're gonna put like 90% of breweries out of business overnight.
They better start cooking something.
They're gonna cook like grilled cheese.
So here, I'll give you a perfect example. So we have a brewery called Whitestone Brewing in Cedar Park, Texas, and they actually pretty regularly, I think they have a food truck that's always there. It's the same one. But there were some like different changes to the laws of during COVID. So like to be able to reopen the brewery, they had to also be serving food or something. I can't remember exactly what the law was. But like they didn't qualify, even though they had that food truck outside, they didn't qualify to reopen unless they had some sort of food in-house. So they were literally giving away bags of fruit snacks, like the little mini snack size bags of fruit snacks. If you got a beer, you got a bag of fruit snacks. And that was how they got around that. So,
What do we always say?
Hey.
Beer and tax evasion and
Yeah,
rural
beer.
eviction go hand in hand. Yeah.
Exactly. Beer and finding loopholes in the law.
That's amazing. All right. Now, normally we do beer news, but since our main topic is basically going to be a very extended version of beer news, we'll just forgo it this time and jump straight into the main topic, which again is weird drinking laws in our 50 states.
I'm pouring can number 2 of this beer, by the way.
That's a thumbs up if I've ever seen one.
That's a podcast exclusive, I think. It's so good. You know what's funny? It kind of reminds me of Pliny the Elder a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, like Pliny the Elder has a great malt and bitterness balance. And while Pliny the Elder is a double IPA, and I think what's amazing about Pliny the Elder is they're able to like make a double IPA that tastes so smooth. This is only 5.5%, so I don't know. It's just has like a really good bitter finish that definitely makes you aware that you are drinking a bitter beer. But like the malt sweetness is just perfect at the entrance. I don't know. It's just very well balanced.
So it's the balance that's reminding you of it. Just like the balance is extremely well done.
Yeah, of the malt and the malt sweetness, and that because I think one of the things I love about Pliny the Elder is the smell, like the beer, bread, yeast smell.
Yes.
Is really good, and then it just the bitterness is pretty intense on a Pliny the Elder, but this kind of has that same feel, like just a great beer smell, and then a great bitterness balance. It's very good.
Nice. Well, now I'm
impressed.
Extra excited. Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to go there when I come visit. Okay, so now where do we want to start?
Did you find any that stood out to you? As absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, there's a lot that are insane. Maybe we should start with where we live right now. Do we need to do California? Do you want me to do California and you do Texas?
Yeah. Well, California's probably easy. They probably don't have any super weird ones.
No. So this the one I'm seeing here is you can't display alcohol within 5 feet of a store entrance or 5 feet of a cash register if the shop also sells motor fuel.
Like motor fuel, what does that even mean? Like gasoline?
Yeah, I guess a gas station.
So a gas station can't have alcohol 5 feet from the register?
It says there is.
I'm trying to think if that's if I've ever seen. I mean, I don't know. The alcohol's all the way back, in the.
Yeah, think about it.
It was right. So, but why? What's the motivation behind that law?
See, what we should do is we should do a follow-up episode where we do deep legal research, because a lot of these they'll be tied to something that happened that no longer makes sense. Do you know about how I think feathers are one of the. There's only 3 things you can throw out the window when you're a vehicle on a freeway.
Okay.
And one of them is feathers. Because when they're transporting poultry,
feathers fly off, right?
Will fly off the truck.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but that's just it seems so random, but then there is a reason behind it. Huh. But I am curious. I don't know what the reason behind it would be.
Interesting. I think California also does a and this is true in a couple states. I think Wisconsin maybe is the other one. But ladies' night discounts are illegal.
Really?
Yeah, because it's gender-based price discrimination.
Oh, wow. I
Yeah,
didn't realize
I fully
that.
support that.
I know. The ladies always get hooked up.
Yeah. And drink deals just because you're gender? Come on, that's so 1950, okay? Not 2020.
You know what's funny? Like, one of the only times I went to Vegas, I went with a bunch of friends. This is not my scene, but they wanted to go to, like, the new cool nightclub or whatever. And the ladies got in for free. And the cover for dudes was $40.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, how do people live this lifestyle? Like,
Oh my gosh.
oh my gosh, that's so much money to pay to go stand in a room with way too loud of music. But
Don't lie, you loved it.
maybe
He's all trying to make it seem like it's not his scene.
no, it was for maybe like 8 months or something.
I don't
like
think
that.
I've ever enjoyed a trip to Vegas.
Dude, real talk, I don't really like it either. I've only gone twice, and one was like to go to an event. It wasn't even really to go to Vegas.
Yeah.
But the only time I ever went to Vegas, I didn't find it that great.
So, one of the things I hate is losing money.
Okay. Check.
Which makes Las Vegas very unappealing. And the other thing I hate is people.
Yeah, Vegas
Makes
is a
Las
no-go
Vegas
for you.
I don't know. I just don't. I don't like to gamble and lose money. Also, I don't feel like the slot machine thing is fun. I don't know. People think that's fun, like hitting the button, and I don't know. It's like a
Watching
thing.
the lights go.
Yeah, I'm not like that. I just feel like, oh, there goes some money.
There goes beer money. My beer money.
Yeah. Can't lose beer money.
You know, there is one really cool thing about Vegas, though.
What's that?
You can have open alcoholic beverages.
That's true. Actually, I'm just reading, in Nevada, no city or town in Nevada can pass a law against public intoxication.
There you go.
One more reason why I don't want to go there.
That's got to be a Vegas thing, too.
The state says that public drunkenness is not a public offense and shall not be treated as such. So they want you to get drunk there, and they want you to have a good time. I guess that's what that means. Right?
Makes sense. City of
They
Sin.
don't want you to get in trouble for having a good time. Which leads us to some states that apparently don't want you to have a good time. Okay? Like Alaska, it's illegal to become visibly intoxicated in a bar. In the bar.
Wait, really?
Yes. 100%.
You can't be drunk. You can't be drunk.
You can't
in
be
a bar?
drunk in the bar.
Isn't
Okay.
that the point of the bar?
If you become drunk, you cannot stay. You gotta leave.
That seems like a very strict version. I feel like they will cut you off at some point. I've never gotten to that point, but yeah, you can't even be there. Like, you have to go.
Like, are you drunk, sir? Like, yes, I've been drinking.
I've been drinking the beer you're selling me.
I feel like that one's probably not enforced. Do you think?
Probably not.
I don't know.
Wisconsin.
there's one. I think Arizona's the same way, but you get 30 minutes. You have a 30-minute window where once you're drunk, you're like, okay, you have 30 minutes to get a ride and get out of here.
Oh, okay.
So
Interesting.
at least you get that window.
Right.
But it's still weird. It's still a strange concept to not want drunk people that are drinking.
No, I mean,
The people that come up with these laws apparently don't drink.
they don't like alcohol. They don't like fun.
Oh my gosh. You don't like alcohol, you don't like fun.
So
You're
Wisconsin.
definitely getting my vote. No.
It says if you're properly licensed to do it, so who knows what that license is, but a parent or guardian is allowed to purchase alcohol for their child in a bar, regardless of their age.
Oh yeah. We have that in Texas.
You do?
Yeah.
You ever see people doing it?
Not really, but like I don't feel scared to let my kid taste my beer when we're out drinking. Like when we're at the brewery or the restaurant or whatever. Because my kids like to taste my beer. I think it creates a healthy relationship between my kids and beer. It's a relationship I never had with alcohol. I had a very unhealthy relationship with alcohol, thinking that it was like the worst thing you could ever do. So for me and my kids, like I just try to make it super normal. And I mean, they know that dad has a beer pong. I mean, one of my kids does the outro for the podcast.
Oh yeah, they're aware.
She was like 100% committed to being part of this podcast. So I was like, okay, let's do it. So she gets to do the outro on the podcast. So anyway, yeah, my kids have I just want them to have a safe relationship with beer and alcohol in general. And we always talk about how it makes us silly when we have enough of it. It's pretty funny. It's funny, like when you try to describe drunkenness to a child.
Right.
You're just like, yeah, they just get kind of silly and funny, and I don't know if it really resonates, but they have no idea.
No, that probably goes right over their heads. So.
But yeah, so we do it a lot at home where they try my beers, and like I drink a lot of fun fruity sours, so they kind of like it. Like lots of times they drink it and they're like, oh, that tastes really good. But if I ever give them like real beer, like if I gave them this pale ale,
oh yeah,
100% they'd be like, what the heck? Like, what did you just give me? They would not like it, but they like the sweet fruity stuff for sure.
The fun stuff. Yeah, that makes sense.
But so I don't ever feel guilty because you can technically serve your kid if they're at the bar with you.
Gotcha.
They can drink. So
I will say it does take a little bit of the mystique away, because I know like that is part of the allure when you are an underage drinker, is the mystique of breaking the rules.
Well, it's like anything when parents forbid something, it's like you
yes.
want to do it more, right?
You're like, why can't I do that thing?
Must be good if they're trying to keep me from it. They do it, but they won't let me do it. I don't know. There must be something they know that I don't. Yeah.
It's true. So, no, that makes sense to me. Here's one that we kind of talked about. In Oregon, it says any location with a liquor license must also serve at least 5 different food items. Yeah, so kind of linking that. If you want to serve alcohol, you need to serve food.
Yeah.
Do you think?
I read into. What's that?
Sorry, I was going to say. Do you think if they gave away the fruit snacks, they could count each of the
5
flavors?
different kinds of fruit? Yeah, the 5 flavors in the fruit snack bag. I read into this one a little bit, and it's basically if you want to. So you could be a bar. You could be strictly a bar and be 21 and over, and it's okay. You don't have to serve food. But if you want to be able to have like families there, anyone under 21, they're like a lot of breweries do nowadays. You have to basically prove that the alcohol consumption is not the main reason why you would be there. And so really the best way to do that is to like show your food menu.
Hey, I'm here for the fruit snacks.
Yeah. The Costco fruit snacks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Oregon's just a little bit like, look, hey, if you want people under 21 to be able to come to your establishment, you have to serve other stuff. So it kind of makes sense. And again, like I said, I'm very pro food and beer together.
Yes.
Like those laws.
But you won't require them.
You know, the other big one is happy hours.
Okay.
Have you seen that theme at all?
No.
So there's this kind of theme, like Virginia, like happy hour is legal, but like they're not supposed to say that they have a happy hour or like post their pricing. And then there's a few states, I can't remember which one, like just completely banned happy hour. Like you can't make a discount on your beer, like just because it's a certain hour of the day.
Huh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I know. Well, now I think about it, maybe it doesn't apply to beer, because I know when I did actually go to clubs for like a little while, I remember the local place, because they always try to get you. I think that's part of the point of happy hour is like to get people in and It's kind of
Right.
like a downtime, so they're trying to like generate
Increase
business when
business
it's
during
time.
that time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when they're
Yeah.
not really busy. But they had
Yeah.
like 7-for-1 drinks, but it was only for yeah,
Oh my
right. And I used to think like, dude, that's insane. But it was only for like a 20-minute window,
20
and I don't know.
minutes.
Yeah, I don't know if it was for beer,
That's
but
so
like if you
great.
wanted, yeah. And they were tiny, like they poured them really tiny. But yeah, if you wanted any drink, like any kind of like Long Island iced tea or whatever, they would use 7 for the price of one.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I feel like I saw one that oh man, what state was it? They wouldn't allow you to do a 2-for-1 beer
Okay,
even. So 7-to-1 beer is certainly out of the question.
super illegal.
So I think if you wanted to find like the most fun to pick on, I think you have to go to Utah,
Oh no, what do they
right?
do in Utah?
Such weird laws in Utah, okay? First off, they have the thing called the Zion Curtain, okay?
Okay,
This is that like you couldn't make drinks or mix drinks or pour drinks, alcoholic drinks, in sight of like people, inside of like anybody, right? So
okay.
so think of like your local Applebee's, right? Not that
Okay.
I ever eat at Applebee's. Jesus, who eats at Applebee's? Anyway, it's beside the point. 20-year-olds, 20-year-olds eating at Applebee's. Um,
Applebee's is never going to sponsor us now. Thanks a lot, Steven.
oh man, actually that's fine. That's good. I'm good with that. Okay, okay. So you're eating at Applebee's, and you have the bar in the middle of the Applebee's. Well, let's say Red Robin, Chili's, something like right. They all have that bar.
Yeah, it's kind of like they want to draw attention to the fact that they're mixing up drinks because then maybe they'll order one.
Yeah, and they'll make you whatever you want. Usually, if you ask, like they kind of have that like full service bar, but they don't like really have it, you know.
Yeah.
They just have like some beers on tap and whatever. But anyway, if you are in Utah, like it's totally different, right? So you can't see that bar. Like they don't want families to be able to like see the bar. So they have this like basically the bar is like hidden in the back. And so if you want to drink, like you have to order it and then they'll pour it in the back and bring it out to you, but like you cannot see that beer. It's super weird. It's not the same as like bars and clubs and stuff. Like that doesn't apply, but if you're at a restaurant like that has a bar, you won't be able to see the bar. So super weird.
That is strange. It's almost like, I don't know. I guess, yeah, maybe they almost want it to be like more low key. So the drink gets ordered, it gets made in secret, and then it's delivered to the table. Yeah.
Well, and, like in Utah, like there's the Mormon culture. So like they don't drink alcohol and like it's evil. So there's kind of like this like religious overtones to the law. And also like, it's just like alcohol is evil. So you don't want the kids at the restaurant to see the alcohol being poured or whatever. Yeah. It's very strange.
I see.
And then they've done a lot of stuff like where in a lot of states they have the state liquor stores or whatever, like the state run liquor stores.
Okay.
So like in Texas, you can't buy liquor at like a grocery store. Like it has to be like a separate liquor store.
Oh, okay.
Like Costco, our Costco's here in Texas, like they have a separate entrance to their liquor store. They have their own liquor store connected to the Costco.
Really? Is it segregated by like a wall?
No, it's a whole other entrance.
So you have to leave Costco and then go in another.
Go to the liquor
that's
part.
Crazy.
And then that part's closed on Sundays because you can't even buy it on Sundays. Yeah. Weird. But yeah, so Utah has a lot of laws about like what you can buy in the grocery store. I think for a long time it had to be less than 4%. Anything in a supermarket or convenience store had to be less than 4% beer.
Oh man, I'm not gonna get any of my stouts.
I feel like Budweiser was behind that law a little bit.
Right? They're like eliminating the competition.
Yeah. Like nobody else is gonna be able to sell their beer except for crappy low ABV lagers. But yeah, and that they're another big one where like you can't buy alcohol without food at the restaurants. They even had to like clarify the law a little bit to make it so you could order a drink while you like looked over the menu. Like that's okay.
Wow.
Like at first they'd be like, no, you have to order your food.
Yeah,
Like you have to be, there has to be a food order in before you can order your alcohol.
that's intense.
I know, right?
And fruit snacks don't go with beer very well.
I know. You're like, I'll order the side of cream corn.
Yeah.
And then 5 beers, please.
There you go.
Yeah, just the side of fries. Oh man.
Well, here's Iowa's. You can't have a running tab.
What?
Yeah, that'd be so frustrating. You have to pay for your drinks every time.
I have to tip every time too.
That's the real conspiracy. Yeah, this must be the bartenders and servers.
Yeah. Follow the money.
Yeah, that'd be frustrating. I love running a tab.
Oh yeah, it's the best. I feel like you would make more money when you do that, right?
Oh, definitely. When I was a kid,
you're like, I have to go up again and buy a beer separately. You're like, oh, just put it on my tab.
Exactly. The tab is dangerous. That's why everyone likes it. Or the business owners like it. We did a tab when I was like 15. I worked at a pool. I worked at the snack bar, and all the lifeguards and all the other employees could run a tab. And they would run like, they'd come and get like a can of Coke and like a Snickers bar or whatever. But they would never pay, and they would run their tabs like the whole summer. And at the end of the summer, like me and the manager would have to like collect all the tabs, and it was like devastating. It's like, you ate $200 worth of Snickers. Like,
oh my god.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Well, that's like at my last hospital too. Like if you as an employee, like you have your badge, and so you could just like go to the cafeteria, and then you would just swipe your badge, and it would take it out of your paycheck. So it was like, you just never thought about it. Like you'd like pile on. They had Nacho Day, which is the best day, but like you pile on this nachos and this guacamole, and they did it by weight. So then they would weigh your nachos, and they'd be like, that's $14.
Dude, how much nachos is $14?
Hey, the guacamole is really good.
It's heavy too.
It's heavy. Yeah, exactly. So,
you could do damage.
Yeah. And yeah, you were just like, just swipe the badge.
It's the same reason like cruise
comes
ships
out of the paycheck.
Yep.
Paycheck.
They give you that little like cruise ship credit card to buy drinks on.
The card and just
And like nowadays, there's probably like I've only been on a few cruises. Like nowadays, there's probably like an app you could check to see like how much damage you've done. But I went on a cruise like I don't know, there weren't like apps. You know what I mean? Like there was cell phones, but it didn't work.
In the olden days when I went on a cruise.
So you didn't know. It was like midweek and you'd been drinking. I'm sure if I went to like the customer service desk, they'd like tell you your balance. But who's doing that? Like people are just like racking it up, dude.
Okay, so our very first cruise was, well, I got on a cruise in high school, but my wife and I cruised for our honeymoon. We did like a 3-day cruise, Carnival cruise to Mexico, and we were so dirt poor that we knew like we couldn't do anything. Like we couldn't order. I think we ordered one drink. We were like one time we couldn't even get soda. Because you have to pay for soda on cruise ships. Yeah. We didn't even do that. Like we got one alcoholic drink each the whole trip. So we were very aware of what our bill was. But like the last time we went on a cruise, it was so funny because we had to go to the customer service desk to we had to like make sure that we got early offboarding because our flight was fairly early, so we needed to be the first off the cruise. And so I like go to get in this like customer service line, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so long. So I was like, Jill, you go like do your thing, and I'll just hang out in this line and let them know that we need to be off early. So I get up to the line finally. I get up to the girl, and I'm like, hey, I just want to make sure that we can get off the ship early because our flight's pretty early. And she just had this like complete look of relief on her face, like, oh, yeah, no, that's no problem. We'll arrange that. And what I realized is that every single person in that line before me was upset that their bill was so high. And they were being like, I didn't charge that. Like, they were like, yeah, you did.
Yep. And then reality comes home to roost.
Oh my gosh. And she was just like so relieved that I wasn't in line to like.
You weren't there to contest the bill?
Yeah, contest my bill. I was just there to like, oh yeah, can I get off of the ship first? Oh, yeah, of course, whatever you want.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So,
yeah, that stuff is dangerous.
That was a Class C cruise that I was.
Yeah.
But yeah, running a tab. Well, I guess where was that? Iowa?
Yep, no tabs in Iowa.
Ridiculous.
Yep. Can't have fun.
So here's a good one. This is true in Colorado and North Carolina. You can get a DUI if you're riding a horse drunk. It's considered a vehicle, so.
Wow. Okay, that's good to know. I know where we grew up, you could get. And I don't know if this is true in every state, but you can get a DUI riding a bike.
Oh yeah. Well, in Davis.
That's so stupid. I don't know. I totally understand you don't want people driving a vehicle that weighs 4,000 to 6,000 pounds while intoxicated, but. Yeah. If I'm riding a bike, I'm probably just going to get myself hit by a girl.
Right, like the only person you're going to hurt is yourself for sure.
Yeah, it's me. Or I'm going to decide I'm going to do like a sick wheelie off like a curve.
Look, Mom, no hands.
I don't think I should lose my driver's license if I rode a bike intoxicated, but yeah.
Oh, that's great. Well, maybe you hit somebody. You hit a pedestrian or something.
That's true.
Yeah, there could be collateral damage. Okay, this is one of the most bizarre ones. In Ohio, it's illegal to give alcohol to a fish to the point of intoxication. Okay, so you can give alcohol to a fish, but if they get drunk, you've crossed the line.
I have several questions. One, has this law ever been enforced? 2, how do you test the intoxication level of a fish? Like, you sure as hell don't give it a breathalyzer.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, right. We need to dig deep on that one and figure out the genesis of that law.
You want to hear a good joke that I heard?
Okay.
I've had too much beer now. Okay, so this park ranger comes up to this guy. He's got a bucket full of fish, and he says, like, "Sir, can I see your fishing license?" And the guy was like, "Oh, I don't have a fishing license. These are my pet fish." And the guy's like, "What do you mean pet fish?" Like, yeah, like these are my pet fish. I bring them down to the river every night. I throw them into the river, let them swim for a little while, and then I whistle, and they all come back and jump back into my bucket and take them home. And the park ranger's like, "What? That's crazy." And he's like, "Here, I'll show you." So he throws all the fish into the river, and the park ranger's standing like, I gotta see this. And like 5 minutes go by, and the guy's like, "So you're gonna call your fish back?" And the guy goes, "What fish?"
I didn't like your joke.
You got rid of the evidence, man.
Fair enough.
And he didn't get any of those fish drunk. So
that's true.
Sir, you are free to go.
If you got those fish drunk, that would have been a 2-strike situation.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
We're officially off the rails.
Tell me jokes now.
Let's do a couple more. Okay. I like this one. In Kentucky, it's illegal to sell alcohol on election day.
Oh, that's good. Smart.
Want us
prudent
to be sober while
Yeah,
we're
you should
voting.
be sober when you're making decisions that influence the fate of our country.
Fair enough. All right,
Or
good
your
job.
local county judges.
Good job, Louisiana. We approve of your law.
Yeah. I thought you said Kentucky.
Oh, you're right, Kentucky.
Oh my gosh.
Louisiana says drive-thrus are allowed to serve alcohol, and the state considers them to be closed containers. But that only applies as long as the straw has not been put through the lid of the drink. I guess that kind of makes sense.
Okay.
But you could be taking the lid off and taking sips and then replacing the lid. I would never have like the whole like having alcohol in the car like and driving seems way too it's way too sketch. Like even when I don't know if you're supposed to do this, but like when I buy a bunch of beer at Total Wine or whatever, I just put it in the trunk.
Oh yeah. Like
I don't know if I get pulled over, I don't want any questions. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
So I don't know if I'm down
smart.
with the drive-through alcohol with a container with a lid on it.
I'm the same way. I kind of like put it back in the trunk or whatever. I put it as far away from me as possible.
Yeah.
I think sometimes though, like I feel like some of my beer cans look so much like soda cans that like I could probably drink it and pass it off. It's like, oh no, this is seltzer water.
Yeah, all your fancy like fruited sours.
No, this is just watermelon coconut. See, it says watermelon coconut sour on it. That's not beer.
Even if they tried it, they'd probably be like, oh yeah.
Like a smoothie sour, you know? Like,
it does taste like jamba juice.
Yeah. That's great. Speaking of driving, in Virginia, if you are drunk and you're the passenger in a car and the driver is drunk too and they get pulled over, you can get a DUI too.
What?
As the passenger.
That's not fair.
I guess it's like, well, if he didn't drive, you would have driven.
It's like accessory to DUI.
It was like it was gonna be either one of you. You just happened to get into the passenger side.
I guess I can see that, but that sucks. Oh man, that would be a wake-up call. If you get a DUI as a passenger.
Yeah. It's probably good, like, to discourage, you know, like somebody's level-headed enough to be like, don't drive, man. You could get me a DUI, you know.
You need one DD.
Yeah.
All right, well, do we have any others we want to mention?
In Washington State, it's a criminal act to destroy a beer bottle.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah. That should be a law everywhere.
Respect your beer.
Yeah. Don't waste a single drop, okay?
Okay, we're done with that.
Unless it's bad beer, and then you can just...
Then you can pour it out. We have a very nuanced stance on that.
Is it bad beer? Oh, yeah. Get that out of here. It's illegal in Wyoming for a woman to stand within 5 feet of a bar while drinking.
Okay, that one's weird.
That sounds like illegal gender-based discrimination.
Agree. Let's get those California lawyers out there stat.
Yeah, that would not fly in California, okay? A woman can drink wherever she wants to drink. She just doesn't get a discount. Only for being female.
Yeah. No discounts.
That's great. Okay, did we talk about weird beer laws long enough to make a full episode?
I think so. And we should give credit to our inspiration was a blog post on craftbeerclub.com that got us thinking about this topic. And I'm assigning myself homework. I'm going to learn about this fish, giving fish alcohol.
Yeah, you're going to really dig into that?
Well, there has to be a reason they passed that law, right? Like, yeah. What was happening that legislators got together?
Yeah.
I need to know, Steve.
I mean, they could have, like, solved more pressing issues, but for whatever reason, that one seemed more pressing.
No, something happened.
Maybe it just had bipartisan support and it just passed so easily.
No, something happened.
There was no debate on that. They were like, oh yeah, that's...
Drunk fish, that's terrible.
Yeah.
No,
like there was the fish lobbyists were on board. You know, like PETA was on board. Everybody was on board. They're just like, yeah, I agree.
It was the mother of all
Yeah,
unilateral
yeah,
legislation.
no debate.
No drunk fish. 2024.
Yeah, somebody used that as their political ad. You reached across the aisle to work with Democrats on important legislation.
No, I think I like to believe there was an incident.
Yeah.
With
I think
drunk
you're
fish.
right. Something definitely spurred.
Something went down, and that's a story worth researching and telling.
I agree.
So that's my homework. All right. Well, we've done enough damage for this podcast. If you want to reach us, you can reach us two places. We have the email. That's contact.attenuation@gmail.com. And we have the Instagram, which is attenuation.podcast. And that's it.
That's it. That's where to find us.
That's where to find us. Hit us up. If you know about the drunk fish incident, we'd love to know.
If you were personally involved in that incident, please reach out to us.
We'd love to interview you. All right. Well, we're very silly. So that was episode 23 of Attenuation. My name is Jason, and I'm joined by my best friend since 8th grade, Steven.
That's me.
And we were saying,
oh my
cheers.
gosh, fade out. Get out of this. Get out of here.
We'll see you next week for episode 24.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Attenuation, a beer podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and follow us on Instagram or Facebook for more fun content. Catch you next week. Cheers!